Right.
All right, we are back in Senate Judiciary. It's April 17th. We have H27 in front of us. We haven't made any changes. We're just getting a review of it one more time and seeing if there's any committee discussion and taking it from there.
So for the record, Michelle Childs, Office of Legislative Counsel, and we're looking at H27 is passed by the House. And so these are changes to the Domestic Violence Fatality Review Commission. So it's a commission that is created in statute, was created about 25 years ago or so. There's a number of people who work in the field of domestic violence, from law enforcement to prosecutors, victim advocates, who sit on the commission. They review data with regard to domestic violence fatalities. They don't review all homicides, or they take a few in there. But the whole point is to kind of see if they can learn, were there things that were missed? How can the state be better at addressing and preventing domestic violence? And so right now it's focused on fatalities only. And so one of the changes in the bill is to allow them to look also at near fatalities. Again, it's not the language is pretty discretionary. So again, they're not looking at all fatalities. They're kind of looking at the types of cases that are out there and picking up particular ones that they think are valuable to kind of review holistically, to see how the system worked or didn't work in that particular case. So that's the first change, is would allow them to review near fatalities. The second change is that that the appointing authorities, so the folks who are appointing members to the commission, are to consider diversity when they're making appointments, because they want the commission to reflect the communities that folks are living in. And so there's no specific requirement, there's no quotas or anything like that, but it's just an acknowledgement that the commission wants to reflect the communities in which they're working, and so would like to have a diverse membership on the commission. And then the last change is the addition of 5 new members, and you'll see those changes on page 3. So it's adding, you see so the sheriff is currently you had to just remember. So there's subdivision 18, the sheriff with experience and interest in combating domestic violence. There's a restorative justice practitioner. You remember, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, the legislature enacted a law to allow restorative justice practitioners to be working in domestic violence cases. That was previously not something that they could do. So adding restorative justice practitioner, the director of victim services at the state police, the executive director of the Center for Crime Victim Services, a state's attorney victim advocate, and the director of victim services for DOC. So those are the 3 changes: the new members, the diversity, and the ability to look at near fatal domestics.
Senator Rose.
I am not trying to make any changes whatsoever.
You are welcome to make whatever.
Just got a question as it helps us to read.
Okay.
Number 18, 18th, remember line 7 on page 3. A sheriff with experience and interest in combating domestic violence. Who would not be interested in combating domestic violence? And what does that mean exactly?
I think their intent, again, this language that was recommended in their 2023 report. I think it may be that, as you well know, that their law enforcement may focus on particular areas, and there may be some people, in certain departments that work more on those types of issues than others. And so you could strike equals having a sheriff with experience. And I mean, I think phrase that necessarily.
Don't you think it reads a little funnier? And an interest in combating the, I mean, Is there anybody in your old, alma mater who wasn't interested in combating domestic violence?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, and what is, yeah, no, that's good.
Maybe you could say sheriff with experience in working on domestic violence cases or.
Sheriff with experience in combating domestic violence. I don't know. I mean, I'm fine with it. Just
Or experience with investigating domestic violence. The possibility. Senator Maddox, do you have any thoughts?
You know, I don't have any thoughts about wordsmithing it. I understand what you're talking about the number 18 with the sheriffs. But I'm open to whatever the committee feels is the right direction to move forward with.
well, I'm not encouraged to change anything. 75. But that's not the point we're trying to get.
Yeah.
Everyone's comfortable with that.
So I think, what was the, was there a definition of near fatal? Again, I feel like we talked.
No, I think that was something that, like prior to introduction, I had talked with Carolyn Hanson, who is the chair of the commission about, and then House Judiciary actually talked quite a bit about whether or not it would benefit from a definition. And I think we all kind of landed on, you know, if this was, you know, a criminal statute or something like that, you know, we want to be obviously really specific
Right.
about identifying that. The near fatal is obviously pretty kind of subjective. But I think that, from the commission standpoint, they were like, you know, gives us some room, you know, so, as to what cases we think are important and would be valuable for the commission to review. So, it's purely a policy choice for you, and you could define it, and I could go back and look at, because I had kind of worked on some language for a definition, but, again, because it's really kind of more of a directive about what they're, the types of cases that they're looking at, rather, you don't necessarily, you can leave them that discretion if you choose.
Well, that makes sense. I was just curious. Maybe any other thoughts or questions? Okay. Well, we don't have to, so we also don't necessarily have to rush this one, so. We can just hold off on it now, and then I think we'll understand it, so. If we're gonna vote on it, we'll vote on it either later today or tomorrow, whenever that happens.
So I
But
really.
thank you for.
Sure, yeah, and so I don't obviously need to be here for the vote,
Yeah.
but Kayla, will you email me, let me know who the reporter is, just in case?
Yeah.
So if anybody needs anything, not much to do for the report, but I'm happy to.
Thank you.
Okay, sure.
We can